Okay, Assalamu alaikum everybody. Can everybody see this? Assalamu alaikum everybody. Can you all see this, inshallah? Can you see my screen? Can you see, of course, just the recording of me? If you can see, say yes. Awesome. Can you hear me clearly? Can you all hear me very clearly? Inshallah ta'ala. Awesome. Great. Okay, inshallah ta'ala. We'll be starting in 3 minutes, inshallah ta'ala. But before we get started, maybe get comfortable. I got a nice sort of cup of tea for this webinar. Or drink lots of water. Have some water next to you, and just get some pen and paper. You might need some pen and paper, inshallah ta'ala, before we get started, so that you can take questions, make notes. I see a lot of you have left some great questions just beneath this page. So inshallah ta'ala, we'll get to them during the Q&A session. Again, if you see a question you really want to be answered, just click on vote it up so that I can make sure that it always stays up as a priority. And feel free, of course, to chat along the way and introduce each other. I'd love to know your name, where you're from, and what are you doing right now, and what are your Ramadan goals. Let me give you homework yesterday. I'm not sure some of you got this homework or not. Just prepare your Ramadan goals for this webinar, inshallah ta'ala. We're starting in 2 minutes, inshallah ta'ala. In the meantime, I'm going to enjoy my tea and get ready for this webinar, inshallah ta'ala. So yeah, I'd love to know more about you guys, inshallah ta'ala. So Ashur from the UK, Luton, welcome to the webinar, inshallah ta'ala. Jazakallah khair. We have Thaqib from the UK as well. We have, mashallah, Stephanie from Rwanda. Mashallah, thank you for joining us all from Rwanda, mashallah. Amazing team. From CB from Bosnia, mashallah, welcome. Mashallah. Samira from France, jazakallah khair. Mashallah, thank you so much, guys. Hafsa from Ireland. This is an amazing global audience here. I'm honored. Really appreciate you guys being here, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu make this a beneficial and productive time together, inshallah ta'ala. Rashida from India, mashallah. Arif from Pakistan. Tasneem from London. Fariha from Dubai, mashallah. Daddy from Egypt, wow, mashallah. Time from Oslo, Norway, subhanallah. This is amazing, mashallah ta'ala. Okay, Sulaiman, Salam from France. He's the coach who got the manifesto in France. Jazakallah khair. Hope you guys benefit from France, inshallah ta'ala. Bandula from California, mashallah. Mashallah, excellent. Bismillah. All right, mashallah, excellent, guys. Really excited. And pray this is inshallah a very beneficial talk for everybody here, inshallah ta'ala. And again, this will be recorded, so you will get a recording of this, but I really hope this has more of a discussion. We get to know Iman from Tanzania, Jambo, hope you're well. And really hope everyone is just really engaged with this whole audience, because that's how we learn and benefit. I want you to go through this with the mindset that you're going to teach somebody else this information, inshallah ta'ala, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, it's 12 o'clock. Let's start. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah. Wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. And welcome to this webinar on a practical plan to prepare for Ramadan, right? All of us, if you think about, if someone asks you, how do you feel about Ramadan in terms of, are you ready for Ramadan? What's the question you normally get? How are you preparing for that? Are you ready for Ramadan? What's the reaction normally? Give me some reaction, inshallah ta'ala. What do you guys think? Are you ready for Ramadan? What do you say to them? Okay, some people say, yep. Some say, yes, I'm ready. Others say, I'm trying to get ready. Some people are saying, I'm still preparing. Okay, very good. All right, so I'll give you 3 reactions that normal people get for Ramadan. The first reaction is like a panic. Like, oh my God, it's Ramadan. Like, oh my God, I'm not ready. I've got exams, I've got projects, I've got a whole deadline. I can't do this. Oh my God, it's this year, Ramadan's going to be the summer. So it's going to be long hours, especially those in the UK and the Europe and some part of the US where it's like going to be like long hours. Those in Australia and the Southern Hemisphere are having a good time because Ramadan will be during the winter for you guys. But those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, we're kind of panicking. People are panicking. It's Ramadan's coming. And they're almost in a panicking mode. So that's one reaction to Ramadan. Who thinks this is their reaction? Who's here says, yep, that's kind of my reaction right now. I'm kind of like panicking about Ramadan. Which one of you guys is saying, yep, that's me? All right, some people saying, yep, that's me, inshallah ta'ala. All right, the next people are the people who are kind of happy, right? And they're like, yeah, it's cool. It's like, I'm happy Ramadan is coming. I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to it. But in the back of their mind, they're kind of stressed, right? Because they're just thinking, oh goodness, how will I handle all of this? But they're generally happy. They love Ramadan. They love the spirit of Ramadan. Or maybe sometimes they love Ramadan for the wrong reasons. They're like, oh, mama's going to make some awesome good food, right? Ramadan food. Or I got Ramadan sweets. Or I'm going to end up staying all night watching TV or doing some Ramadan shows. So they're kind of ready for Ramadan for the wrong reasons. Or they're kind of hiding it behind a big smile, saying, yeah, I'm looking forward to Ramadan, but back of the mind is stressed. How many of us are like that? How many of us are like, yeah, I'm excited, but back of my mind kind of stressed or not sure if this is the Ramadan for us, inshallah ta'ala. All right, okay. All right, people, like some people say that. Okay. So I want to turn all of you guys, inshallah, into what I call the cool Ramadan guys. Okay. These are people who understand what Ramadan is about, and they make sure they're prepared for Ramadan and they're not stressed about Ramadan. They're not like panicking. They're not like thinking, oh my God, they're stressed. They they're cool for Ramadan. They enjoy the Ramadan. They make the most of Ramadan, and they don't leave Ramadan feeling guilty. How many of us do this, right? We go through Ramadan, we start Ramadan really, really well. And by the end of Ramadan, we kind of go feel to slumps and feel tired. And then the last days of Ramadan, just like praying it's over. And when it's over, we kind of feel guilty. We think, oh man, I didn't make the most of Ramadan. I really messed up this Ramadan. How many of us are like that, right? We feel guilty at the end of Ramadan that we did not make the most of Ramadan. We felt that, that we should have done better. We could have done better. And that's, again, a lot of you guys saying, yep, that's me. Again, some of us all go through this all the time. So let us sort of now, the idea of this preparing for Ramadan is to get us into the habit of really thinking like an athlete, right? Think about an athlete. When an athlete goes into a championship or an NFL or Super Bowl or any championship you can think of, they don't wake up, oh, tomorrow's the NFL. Oh, tomorrow's Championship League. Oh, I got to get ready. No, they really think ahead and they plan ahead. So we want all of us today, inshallah, to plan Ramadan like athletes. Think about what do you do to plan for Ramadan? You know the goal, right? The goal is Jannatul Firdaus. The goal is the Itq from Niran. Allah, frees us from the hellfire. The goal is our sins are forgiven. The goal is a night that's worth 1,000 nights. So we all know the goals, right? We're all very excited about the goals. But to get that goal will not be for anybody who just wakes up and one day, oh, it's Ramadan, let me go figure out what to do. That goal is for people who prepare for Ramadan and really start preparing very, very early. They're not those who just sort of jump into Ramadan and stumble upon Ramadan, but those who are really preparing for it mentally, physically, socially. So when the Ramadan hits, they are at their peak performance. Just like athletes. Athletes don't just jump into the marathon. They're just like, oh, tomorrow's Ramadan marathon, we go run a few miles. They prepare early, months in advance, and they prepare to get their bodies, their minds, their at the most optimal level. The same thing, we should all prepare like athletes for Ramadan, because Ramadan is going to be a marathon. It's not a sprint, right? A lot of people go to Ramadan, the first 10 nights are sprinting. They're first day Taraweeh, they do really well. They wake up for suhoor, and then boom, after 10 days, they're like, oh, I can't do this anymore, right? It's so hard. It's half of Ramadan, like, oh goodness. And then the last 10 nights, which is the most important 10 nights, they're completely knocked out. They can barely keep up with Ramadan. So that's when we need to prepare like athletes. So how many of you are ready to prepare for Ramadan like athletes? Like, really, really get into Ramadan, like, to the maximum you now are an athletic mode, inshallah. Who's ready, inshallah? You guys ready? You guys going for this, inshallah? All right, let's do this. Let's prepare for Ramadan like athletes, inshallah ta'ala, and make the most of Ramadan so that when we come out of Ramadan, we think, alhamdulillah, we give it our best shot. We didn't just stumble upon it. And most importantly, we don't feel guilty that we could have done better. That's the worst feeling that you can have at the end of Ramadan. I think I could have done better. I could have achieved more. So, this is why it's very, very important to start preparing for Ramadan early, inshallah ta'ala. All right, so first step, if you're an athlete, the first thing I'll do, if I was a coach, right, I'm your coach right now, I'm going to do a fitness test. I'm going to, okay, get on the scale. Let's weigh you down. Let's get on some fitness tests and make sure that you're ready for Ramadan. Now, but I'm going to put this in a slightly different perspective. I'm going to ask you first to do a spiritual fitness test. Ask yourself, how fit spiritually are you? Are you praying on time? Are you doing the azkar of morning and remembrance of evening? Are you constantly remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Are you good with charity? Have you fasted past few days or not? Right? Are you in a spiritually fit condition where have you repented from your sins? Have you, maintained those relationships with those who are around you? Are you in a spiritually fit question? You need to ask yourself these questions, starting with those which are obligatory upon you. Say, am I praying on time? Am I waking up for Fajr? And then once you say, the obligations I've been doing, okay, the extra things. Am I doing the sunnah prayers? Am I doing witr prayer? Am I really going to the masjid? Asking yourself, how spiritually fit am I? And the more spiritually fit you are, if this baseline is good, that means, inshallah ta'ala, you'll be ready for Ramadan better. But if it's not good, hey, guess what? It's not the end of the world. You got 30 days to get ready and spiritually fit for Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala. So this is the first thing, asking yourself the questions of how am I doing spiritually? How am I preparing for Ramadan from a spiritual perspective? Am I at that level? What's my baseline? Where am I at the moment, right? It's not about, it's not like going to Ramadan and just doing all the extra worship that you never used to do the whole year, but asking yourself, am I reading the Quran every day? Am I, just do I have even relationship? Do I make dua, right, every day or not? And getting that baseline, asking yourself those questions, make better getting those baselines, that makes sure that you are spiritually fit. And depending on what level, it means that you need to work harder or maybe maintain that level to Ramadan and beyond Ramadan. This is the first spirit fitness test we need to make sure you guys go through. The second fitness test is a physical test. Is your body ready for Ramadan? Basically, and the only way to find out is to fast it. Have you fasted voluntary fast? Is your body ready, especially those of you who are in Northern Hemisphere, who are going to have long hours, 12 hours, 16 hours of fasting? Is your body ready for Ramadan? Are you preparing your body? Are you eating the food that will help you to maintain that energy throughout the day? Or are you eating sugary foods and fried foods, which causes a spike in your energy, but then crashes and makes you feel lethargic, right? Is your sleep, are you managing your sleep in a way are you ready for Ramadan? Are you maybe realizing that I have to stay a bit later in the day and wake up earlier? Are you people starting to get ready? Again, you can't just go to Ramadan and suddenly, I have to stay late now. Oh my God, I have to wake up earlier now. You can't do that. You need time to your body, to your mind to get ready for that. Are you physically fit for Ramadan? And even exercise. I know this might sound crazy, but who exercises in Ramadan? But trust me, being physically fit helps you. Your body being at optimal level helps you to go through the marathon run, right? Again, same thing with the marathon runners. Marathon runners, they can go to the marathon. If they're just fat and flabby, unfortunately, they will start slow and they'll end slow. But if they're fit, they'll run faster and they'll be able to accomplish the marathon in a much faster rate, in a much better state of health. So that's the same thing, physical fit. How physically fit are you and what are you doing and what's the baseline? Again, right now, we're not trying to put goals. Right now, we're just asking yourself, what's the baseline for us? Number 3, social fitness. What does this mean? How's my relationship with those who are closest to me? How is my relationship with my parents, with my neighbors, with my children, with my spouse, with my relatives, with my community? How are those relationships? Does anyone have anything against me? Have I backbited somebody? Is there anything I could do more from the community around me and help, and just give more towards? What's my social initiatives that I'm going to do in Ramadan? Setting those standards, social. If you're saying, I have a really bad relationship with my relatives, with my parents, my children, with my spouse, this is a good time to get that fixed before Ramadan comes. Again, when Ramadan comes, you're still having fights over things that happen before Ramadan. Get into a social fitness model. Does this make sense, guys? Are you guys okay with this so far? Are you guys okay so far? So if this is making sense, let me know. Okay, awesome. So asking yourself now, just take 1 minute, all right? Just 1 minute. Just put a note, spiritual fitness, physical fitness, social fitness, and ask yourself, what questions I should ask myself? What are we doing now to prepare ourselves spiritually, physically, socially, and get at that level where we are now at a level of basically, just to know our baseline. Right now, I'm just trying to figure out my baseline. Where am I standing, right? Because next 30 days before Ramadan hits, I want to make sure that I move that baseline and improve in areas that need improvement. In fact, those of you who are part of Productive Muslim Academy, and I'll explain this more towards the end, we'll have a Ramadan readiness assessment. We'll actually send you a form that you'll have to fill that will ask the questions, how ready are you for Ramadan, spiritually, physically, and socially? This is part of our pre-Ramadan boot camp, which we'll speak more about towards the end. But this is for people who really want to take that step further and have a coach who works with them to basically get ready for Ramadan in a very practical manner. But in the meantime, for everyone else, please do think about this from a fitness perspective. Where am I spiritually? Where am I physically? Where am I socially? And once you know the baseline, it is now ready to move on to the next phase. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to move on? Okay. All right. Okay, let's move on. All right, the next part now is once we have the fitness, now it's knowing where we are, is to set those goals, right? And again, a lot of people, when we talk about Ramadan, they always start with the setting Ramadan goals first. I'm like telling you first, ask yourself, where am I, right? That's the best important, because if you're way here and you're trying to get up to here, for example, that might be very difficult. That's why people sometimes go through Ramadan thinking, I'm going to read the whole Quran twice. I'm going to, pray, extra nawafil. But for example, before Ramadan, they barely pray or they never touch the Quran. It becomes very difficult. So what I want you to do is think about spiritual goals, physical goals, and social goals. And I'm going to go through each one of these in detail. What are the spiritual goals you should aspire to? What are the physical goals you should look into? What are the social goals? And this is part of this webinar. We're going to this in detail. But as you put your goals, one thing to keep in mind, which I want to make very, very clear, is make sure that your goals are both SMART and stretch goals. What does this mean? Now, you probably heard of SMART goals. SMART goals are specific, measurable, actionable. What's R? I forgot what R is. I think it was realistic. Yes, R is realistic, and time bound. These are SMART goals, right? Something specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time bound. And actually, there was an experiment done with GE, which is a global company, where for like a year or 2 years, they asked employees to have SMART goals for everything they did, like SMART goals for everyone from the CEO to the secretary and the janitor. Everyone had to have SMART goals. Now, after a few years doing this, they realized they started losing money. And they're looking, why we started losing money? And when they send some people to investigate, they realize that people are putting SMART goals, but they're putting some easy goals, right? They were like, I'm putting SMART goal. I'll go to work every day at 8 o'clock. It's specific, it's measurable, it's actionable, it's realistic, and time bound. So they made very, very easy SMART goals that were not aligned with what the company wanted to do. Same thing in Ramadan. Some of us we put SMART goals. Like, let's say you do read Quran every day. They say, okay, I'll read the one juz of Quran. Nothing that's amazing, or for you, maybe you read Quran every day. One juz might seem like easy for you, so you put that as a SMART goal. But here's where I challenge you: can you double that? Can you do 2 juz a day? That's a stretch goal. Where I stretch you, and you're like, whoa, man, that's hard. If you were planning to give $1,000 for charity in Ramadan, ask yourself, can you do 2,000? You're like, whoa, 5,000. You're like, okay, I'm getting nervous. When you're nervously excited about something, that's, you have a stretch goal, something that you're really excited about. Not like, I can do, I'll pray every night, Tarawih. I will, things that you normally do, you're not stretching yourself. So Ramadan is a great opportunity for you on a spiritual level, on a physical level, on a social level, to stretch yourself, to really push yourself beyond where you normally are. If you're starting off, for example, if you're struggling with praying 5 times a day, then maybe the stretch goal for you is to pray every day on time. That's fine. What's the goal for you? It does not have to be someone else's goal. What is your specific goal? So when you think about these goals, we go through them one by one, ask yourself, what is my SMART goal? Specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, time bound. But then how can I stretch myself? How can I really push myself and really like, I want to make sure that I do this. This excites me. This gets me really, really excited. It's not like, I can do that. It should be something that really, really pushes you. Is this clear, guys? Are you guys clear about this? Making sure that you're all seeing this? Awesome. All right. Okay, so let's go through each one of these goals, inshallah ta'ala, and make sure that we are clear what is spiritual goals, what is physical goals, what are the social goals for Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala. So spiritual goals. Now, the idea of spiritual goals is I want you to, basically every Ramadan should be leveling up your spirituality. What does that mean? It means that, for example, let's say I'm somebody who perhaps doesn't pray on time, for example, a hypothetical example, right? And then you say, okay, this Ramadan, I'm going to make sure I pray on time. Okay. This Ramadan, prayed on time. Alhamdulillah, that's my new spiritual. Now this Ramadan, that's my new baseline. That from then on, I make sure that I always pray on time. Now, next Ramadan comes, since I great. What's my next spiritual? Okay, maybe I should. Great. Okay, I'll pray Sunnah prayers now. So now that this Ramadan, my spiritual goal is to make sure I pray. That's my new spiritual level. I've leveled up. It's almost like I was here, I moved here, now I'm staying here. Next Ramadan comes, I'm going to go level up again. I say, you know what? Okay, alhamdulillah, I prayed on time. Alhamdulillah, I am now praying with the Sunnah prayers. What else can I do? Okay, I want to make sure that I pray the night prayers, at least, Taraweeh and Tahajjud. But not just for Ramadan. I'm going to start praying at least 2 rak'ah of Taraweeh and at least the witr prayer. And this will be my new level till the next Ramadan. So every Ramadan, you're kind of moving up. You're spiritually growing. You're not like going through this. Unfortunately, most of us, we go up in Ramadan and then go down and go up in Ramadan and go down. And we kind of like stuck around the same levels. I want you each Ramadan to move up. Each Ramadan, you're leveling up. You're improving your spirituality. You're getting closer and closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not just oscillating on the same level. Is this clear, guys? Does this make sense to you guys? Whoops. Does this make sense to everybody? Okay. Let me just share this. I think I just, hold on. I think I share the screen. Alrighty. I'm going to share the screen with you guys now. Okay. All right, can you see this? Okay, awesome. So we want you to basically to level up each Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala, and not be stuck on the same level. So this means that you think of spiritual goals that are applicable to you. Again, it's not somebody else's goal. Just because the imam, the scholars, and the parents, and the teachers, and people around you saying you should be doing X, Y, Z, it does not mean that that's where you are at. Maybe you're still struggling with the basics. If you really cannot finish the whole Quran in the month of Ramadan, maybe for you, if you finish half the Quran, it's awesome. If you finish a third of the Quran, it's awesome. Which level are you at? But let's say you are amazing. Let's say, mashallah, you finished the Quran twice, 3 times in Ramadan. Can you increase that? Can you improve that? How can you go further? Maybe say this Ramadan, instead of just reciting very, very fast and trying to finish the Quran multiple times, maybe I'll try to finish the entire tafsir of the first 10 juz this whole Ramadan. For 10 juz of Quran, I'll be focusing on tafsir, for example. What is it what spiritual goal that will get you close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that only you, that is applicable to you personally? Because each one of us is different. Each one of us at different levels. I cannot expect you to be at a certain level, all of us. Some people are struggling with some different things. Some people it's the Quran. Some people is knowing their daily adhkar. Some people it's salah. Some people it's charity. Some people is just basically having those in their internal. For example, some people are just always angry, right? This spiritual disease. They're always angry, or they always have hasad or envy. These are things you need to work on, either internally or externally, that you set for yourself. For example, this Ramadan, I'll make sure I don't have envy against anybody. Or this Ramadan, I will not get angry. Or this Ramadan, I will, try to work on some spiritual disease that perhaps you have. I won't backbite somebody. So think about these goals and set those goals for you. This is something that's applicable to you only. Now, again, first start with obligatory acts. Right? A lot of this big mistake people do in Ramadan is they focus on all the Taraweeh, the Quran, but they don't pray on time, right? So start with the obligatory acts, the acts that we are all asked to start off with, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not love anything more than us doing the obligatory acts upon us. So start with those basics, right? The salah, the zakah, the fasting, if you can do umrah and hajj, these are the basics. That's the obligatory stuff we have to do. And then you move up and then you level up. If you cannot get that down, then don't sort of, overwhelm yourself with things that you can't even do. Start with those basics. Now, this does not mean they should not reach out and do more. Some people think, okay, start with the basics, focus on the basics, celebrate that you've done the basics, but also if you can do more, of course you should do more. Of course you should increase yourself. But in terms of you assessing yourself, how well have I done this Ramadan? You're only assessing yourself on these goals that you know are part of the basic for you, and then you're going to build on that. If you can do more, go ahead, do more. No one's stopping you. You should make the most of Ramadan, but try to start with the basics. That's what's more important, inshallah ta'ala, and think long term. Like I said, you might say, well, my long-term goals that inshallah, let's say in 3 Ramadans, if Allah gives me life, by the 3rd Ramadan, I'm going to level up so much that I'm going to be at a stage where I can pray tahajjud every night, even outside Ramadan. I'm going to be at the stage where I can give charity every week, for example, even outside Ramadan. I'm going to be at the stage where I read Quran regularly, at least 1 juz every day, even outside Ramadan. You're leveling it up. You're thinking long-term, not just short-term. Go in, crash course, do a sprint, and then you sort of crash after Ramadan. Is this clear, guys? Is everything clear so far? Bismillah. Okay, awesome. All right. Okay, next one is spiritual goals. Now, physical goals. Physical goals about managing sleep, managing nutrition, managing fitness. Now, you might think, how on earth will you do that? Well, guess what? Number one, we're having a webinar. Again, something like this, free webinar. Next week, inshallah, is asking, how do you eat, move, sleep during Ramadan? So please watch out for the emails and announcements on social media everywhere that you can access. As a free webinar, same thing, same style. We are going to talk about eating, moving, and sleeping in Ramadan in detail. But just for the purpose of this webinar, asking yourself again, what physical goals do I have and how I work towards it, right? If you know that you're gonna sleep less in Ramadan because it's gonna be late nights, when can I sleep? Can I recover some of that sleep? For example, for those of you who are in the UK or in the US, where let's say you're praying tahajjud and the Taraweeh ends at like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and then you have like 2 hours for the suhoor. How will you manage your sleep? Can you do some practice runs? Maybe one of these days in Sha'ban, fast the whole day and try to see if you can maybe over the weekend test how the sleep would work, and maybe sleep in the morning, and just get your body getting used to the sleep pattern, this new sleep pattern. Don't just shock your body when Ramadan starts. Oh, I have to get ready now I have to mess up my whole Ramadan. Same thing with nutrition. We'll speak more detail about nutrition, what food you should eat, what food you should avoid, and what that means to your productivity. People think that, yeah, Muhammad, it's kind of hard, it's been really awesome food in Ramadan. I can't say no to it. But the more you realize that if I eat this, pakoras or chicken or something that, that fried food or sugary food or donuts, it's going to impact how I perform in Ramadan. It's going to impact how awake and my focus in Salah and Taraweeh. It's going to impact if I wake up for suhoor or not. It's going to impact if I can work in the day or not. Once you start making that connection, you'll be much more careful about the food you eat. And this is the whole premise of next week's webinar on how to eat, move, sleep during Ramadan. Inshallah, please do join me. Inshallah, I hope you guys will enjoy it. It'll be a very practical webinar on what to eat, how to sleep, how to manage nutrition, inshallah. And same thing in fitness. Again, you might think, dude, fitness, Ramadan, who does that, right? It's like you can barely survive Ramadan. Just the Taraweeh itself is like a fitness. But there is more. You can actually, how do you move your body? Again, moving our bodies has an impact on how productive we feel, how we feel that we can make the most of Ramadan, how energetic we feel. If we get involved in some social activities, involved in some kind of charity work, all of that is part of moving, inshallah. And again, we'll go in more detail on how to manage your fitness in Ramadan, inshallah. But for now, just for your own purposes, think about how will you manage your sleep, nutrition, fitness. And again, like I said, we'll go into some of that detail, inshallah, in next week's webinar, inshallah. Okay, so thank you again so much. Physical goals. Next one is on social goals. Okay, so a lot of us, when we think of Ramadan, we kind of think it's a kind of selfish thing, right? It's my Ramadan. I want to make sure I pray on time. I make sure I pray Taraweeh. I make sure that I go for Quran, finish my Quran during the month. We need to think about beyond ourselves. Now, some of us, get into charity, we give charity, but again, let's go beyond just giving charity with our money and ask ourselves, what will we do for those who are around us, whether it's our family, whether it's our children, whether it's our community, whether it's our neighbors, whether it's our humanity at large? What will you do during Ramadan that is social productive? That's something that's beyond yourself. One of the things about Islam is not a selfish religion. It's not about me, myself, and I. It's not about me, I'm good, I'm happy, I pray, and therefore I don't care about everybody else. In fact, Islam is all about the community. It's a very community-based religion. When Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam entered Medina, the first thing he said to the people of Medina was, "Ya ayyuhan nas, afshu salam, wa at'imu at-ta'am, wa sallu bil-layl wan-nasu niyam, tadkhuluna al-jannata bi-salam." Oh people, afshu salam, spread the salam. So that's social productive. Now, secondly, at'imu at-ta'am, feed the people. That's socially productive. Then the third thing said, وَصَلُّوا بِاللَّيْلِ وَالنَّاسُ نِيَامٌ, and pray at night when people are sleeping. تَدْخُلُونَ الْجَنَّةَ بِسَلَامٍ, you enter Jannah in peace. So think about the first two things out of three things. You could have said, oh people, pray, do your fasting, do zakah. Right, you enter Jannah. No. The first two things are social, about help, afshu salam, spread salam to those around you. Number two, feed the hungry. And then the third is something private, which is the salah at night. So think about, when you think of social goals, think about what would you do to those who are around you. Now, there are two types of circles that are around you. There's something called circle of influence, and this has come from Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Circles of influence are people whom you can influence and change, right? And circle of concern are people beyond that circle of influence. For example, circle of influence for me would be, for example, my spouse, my children, my siblings, my family, my neighbors, the community, the masjid I go to, maybe you guys online, Productive Muslim, you're part of, this social influence. I can give you advice, I can influence, I can help change. So these are people I have some kind of influence over. I can sort of advise and give change and help and do something social with. Circle of concern is things like there are 1.5 billion people today who are hungry. I'm concerned about that. It really hurts when you hear that number, but it's beyond my capacity. It's beyond my own goals. Now, there are thousands of, let's say, refugees in the Muslim world right now. Again, circle of concern. Now, again, I can contribute something. I can do some charity. I can go and help do some work. If I have time, I can maybe fly and help them in translation. But there are certain things that it's beyond you. It's a circle of concern that you're concerned about, but it's just not within your own limit. Now, what you need to do is focus on your circle of influence. A lot of us we say, the Muslim world is in distress and this is happening here and look, all these countries, they're all burning. And we talk about all these big issues and we forget about our families, our neighbors, our community, and people whom we have influence over. And the Sunnah of Rasulullah and the Sahabas, they focus on circle of influence. And because they focus on that, their influence grew until it encompassed literally half of the world. And that's one of the amazing things about the seerah, about the Islamic civilizations, that was they were focused on that circle of influence. So you want to focus on your circle. What can you do to those whom you have influence over? And slowly, that circle of influence will grow to encompass circle of concern. Like, for example, Productive Muslim, when we started, it was only me and my friends talking about productivity. So that was my circle of influence. But it slowly grew with the blog until now, like you said, mashallah, people are from around the world entering this webinar. I would not have thought of that. That's actually, beyond my imagination. But it's almost like when you focus on your circle of influence and you focus on serving those people, it expands, it grows by Allah's permission and tawfiq, inshallah ta'ala. So think about social goals. What will be your social goals? Define who will you serve? Who will you support? Who will you help? Again, it does not have to be charitable. It could be even like your relatives. It could be just saying, I want to make sure I maintain a good ties of kinship with my relatives. It could be, for example, this week I'm going to make sure I'll be at the masjid and serve iftar every day. I'll be the guy who puts the food in the plates, for example. I'm my circle of influence. My circle is I will make sure in school I set up a prayer room so people will make sure to pray and they don't miss the dhuhr prayer. What can you do? Who will you serve within your circle of influence, inshallah ta'ala? At work, maybe my circle of influence, I'll tell people about Ramadan, tell them more what I'm doing in Ramadan. And focus on specific social interests, something you really, really care about and you really can give work to, inshallah ta'ala. Is this clear? Okay, bismillah. Okay, very good. Okay, so think about your social goals. Don't just think about, me, myself, and I. Okay, most of you came here and said, how can I pray better? How can I be motivated? How can I finish? No, these are all great goals, but always think more around those around you. And the whole point, again, the fasting is to feel hungry for those who are around you, to be more socially connected. The idea that we should fast with the community, we should break our fast community. And Ramadan is a beautiful opportunity for doing a lot of social work. So make sure that part of your goals is to do these social goals, inshallah ta'ala. So step one was what? What was step one in preparing like an athlete? What was step one, guys? Step one, preparing like an athlete. What was step one? No. It was a spiritual goal. What was step one? Step one. Come on, guys. Step one for spiritual fitness. Well done. So getting your fitness test. Do spiritual fitness, a physical fitness, and a social fitness. Great. That was step one, getting that fitness level. Step two was what? What was step two, guys? Step two was getting those goals down. Spiritual goals, physical goals, social goals. Great, well done, excellent. All right, so now the next step is step three, which is have a game plan, all right? Again, athletes, they don't just say, okay, this is my fitness level, and this is what I want to achieve. I want to get, I want to hit the championship league, I want to be, the number one player, but I have no idea how to get there, right? You never hear that from athletes. Same thing. So as someone who's preparing for Ramadan, have a game plan. A spiritual plan, a physical plan, and a social plan. Again, I'll be repeating this over the spiritual, physical, social. This is the premise of the work we do at Productive Muslim. It's about spiritual productivity, physical productivity, and social productivity. And that makes you more holistic because it's not about me, myself, and I. And it's not just about getting things done. It's about the spiritual element, the physical element, which is important, but also the social element as well. Now, the good thing about having a game plan, if you know athletes, for example, what they do, they rehearse before the big night's game, right? Michael Phelps, who is the Olympic gold medal, right? I think he won like 2 or 3 like gold medals. He says that he actually almost rehearses in his mind, has like a mental image in his mind of how he will swim or how he's going to beat his opponents. He has this rehearsal. He actually prepares himself. It's not like, today's morning, let me just jump in the pool and see what happens. He rehearses, and that's what ultra performers do. They rehearse. Why do they rehearse? Because when the rubber hits the road, when it's time to be real, it's not like, I'm shocked, I don't know what to do now. They know exactly what to do. They can hit the ground running. Pilots, for example, those who fly the planes that you guys ride, every now and then, those pilots, they rehearse mentally of, if things go wrong, what should we do? Because when things go wrong, there's red alerts, there's sirens, the plane may be crashing. They need to have almost like reflex what to do exactly. If they didn't have this mental rehearsal, guys, a lot of accidents happen on the plane, but alhamdulillah, they kind of got this into doing the rehearsal. So think about rehearsing your Ramadan. And what does rehearsal mean? Rehearsal means how to live that Ramadan every single day. So let's go through a spiritual plan. For example, here are some practical tips that you guys, inshallah, would enjoy, inshallah, with practical tips. Number one is prepare your Ramadan dua list. Okay, this is a beautiful, beautiful exercise for you to do with your family, with your spouse, your children. Say, which du'as will we want to focus on this Ramadan? Now, of course, you can do as many du'as as you want, right? There's no like limitation. Allah's mercy and Allah's generosity is bountiful. But you really have a few du'as that you really, really focus on. Some of you might have done a course by Muhammad al-Sharif called Visioning Online, which again I recommend you guys take. It talks about how to translate your goals into like a du'a goals as well. So think about goals you'll do, Ramadan goals you'll do, and you kind of like, or things you want to achieve in life. Could be a project you want to work on, could be something really, really powerful, and ask Allah every single day Ramadan for that to happen. It could be in dunya, it could be in akhirah, it could be any goal you want, anything you want to achieve, and really just prepare that list. And it's beautiful when you sit with your spouse and you say, what are Ramadan goals? Because that will force you to have a conversation, on what are Ramadan goals, what didn't you get done in Ramadan, what are also my beyond Ramadan goals? After Ramadan, what would I want to achieve? How will my life be different? What's my ultimate goal? And preparing those dua. Those dua could be as small as I would love to pass my exam. It could be as getting married, could be having children, could be, preparing a big project. It could be something really, really, anything that you can connect to that really means a lot to you. Add it to your Ramadan dua list. Could be something spiritual, could be something that's dunya, could be something that's akhirah, your family, whoever it is. Just have a Ramadan dua list. And this dua list is going to every single day before iftar, in the morning, in the evening, you'll be making this dua. This is the dua you're making. The beautiful thing about this dua list is two things. Number one, it forces you to think about your long-term goals, because a lot of us kind of stumble through life without having long-term goals. So it kind of forces you, what do you want out of life? What do you want to achieve before you die, perhaps? And the most important thing, of course, is that it has that connection to Allah. Because sometimes we make dua, but we don't feel that connection. But when you put it on a dua list, something you really want, something you really want to achieve, and then it happens, it's like you get really, the connection to Allah is so stronger, and you really understand the power and might of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I highly recommend you prepare your own specific, customized to your needs Ramadan dua list that will help you get ready for Ramadan, inshallah, and you'll be like, spiritually, that's your game plan. You know exactly what you're gonna make dua for, inshallah. Second thing, schedule time for Quran recitation. Again, this is a plan. You know exactly, from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, I'll be reading Quran. From 5 till 7, I'll be reading the Quran. If you don't do this, if you don't have a game plan, what happens? You're like, okay, I'll read aside one juz'ah, but you never schedule that in. So you're busy and you get stuck and you have to rush to work and you just never schedule that in. But the moment you schedule that in, it's in your plan, you know exactly when to do it. So you're going to hit the ground running. You're not shocked about, oh, I don't have time to read Quran. You know when exactly you can read Quran. Prepare your zakah, sadaqah donations, right? Start putting money aside. So this is for zakah and sadaqah, and start just preparing that money. Again, it's not like I'm running out. I didn't know I couldn't budget for donations, because you know that the sadaqah Ramadan the reward is amazing. So you want to make sure you want to give as much as possible. You can cut out some meals in Sha'ban. Maybe you can cut out some going to cinema or doing something that's maybe waste of time and money. Save that money into a sadaqah box and say, I'm going to make sure that we can maximize this. So Ramadan comes, we can spend on charity every single day, just like Rasulullah. He was like so generous in Ramadan. So prepare yourself for Ramadan. Get yourself ready with, let's say, put a jar in the middle of your home. Get all your family involved. Hey guys, everyone put some money in, inshallah ta'ala. And by the end of when Ramadan begins, every day we give charity. Every day we're giving charity. We're not sort of running away from fundraisers because we don't want to give anything. We're ready. We're always ready to give something for Ramadan. And the more we can give, the better, inshallah ta'ala. Learn the rules of fasting, right? Again, it might sound weird. Maybe I've been fasting for the past 30, 40 years, but it never harms. I mean, personally, I learn every time I go through it again. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. What do you do when you, by mistake, go to doctors and get an injection? What do you do, for example, if some food comes out and goes back in again? All these things, all these questions of fiqh of fasting. Learn the fiqh of fasting. Go to a scholar there. Alhamdulillah, most of the masajids and most of the imams, and nowadays even online, you can go learn a fiqh of fasting, about how to fast, what happens when you fast, which days you should not be fasting, which days you should be fasting, and so on and so forth. So please do learn the rules and fiqh of fasting, so that at least you're aware of how to fast properly, inshallah ta'ala. Learn the du'as of fasting, right? What du'as the Rasulullah used to say when he used to break his fast, right? What du'a he used to say, for example, during the day when someone does something wrong, what do you say? It's Allahumma inni sa'im. So learn these du'as, not many du'as, learn small du'as that really make sure that you're ready for Ramadan, and get ready for, learn the dua of the day. For example, the dua for waking up, the dua for going to sleep, the dua for entering the bathroom, for eyeing the bathroom, looking in the mirror. All these duas, Prophet teach us. There's some small booklets. Go to any Islamic bookstore, go get it, and start maybe printing it out, put it stickers on around the house, and get yourself again practicing. It's about again having a game plan. If you don't do that, you will never do it. I know it might sound trivial. I think putting stickers on the house might not mean much, but trust me, having a game plan is a huge difference because you know exactly what to prepare. Otherwise, you just, again, stumble through life, stumble through Ramadan without being conscious about it. Prepare your Ramadan prayer clothes. Now, you might think, might seem very, materialistic, but it has a psychological benefit. When you prepare yourself, like, you know what, I'm going to prepare myself. You know, the Salaf al-Salih, our righteous predecessors, when they used to wake up for tahajjud, they used to put on their best clothes and put in the best perfumes, even though they're not meeting anybody. They're only meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But that's the whole point. Because they meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they wear their best clothes, put the best perfume on. So what will you get? Maybe get some new jilbab, get your hijab, new, thobe for you guys. Something that excites you. I want to go for Taraweeh, not to show off your new clothes, but because you really want to prepare that you are, that you're really almost like at a high because you're like, physically clean, you're spiritual clean, you're clothed clean, and Allah loves beauty. Like Muhammad taught, Allah yuhibbul jamal. Allah loves beauty. So please, prepare yourself and say, I'm really excited. I'm going to get a special thobe, this jilbab. I'm going to wear it for the masjid, and I'm going to go. And that encourages you to make sure they stick to Ramadan spiritual plan, inshallah. Is this okay so far? Is this okay so far, guys? Okay. Awesome. Really, I'm glad you guys are enjoying the inshallah. Okay. The next thing is a physical plan. Again, we'll speak more about this next week, inshallah. Physical plan basically is preparing meals and grocery plans for Ramadan. Again, what will you eat? Sometimes, we kind of fall in default. Oh, we're going to have these fried foods or these sugary foods. But if you're conscious, and again, once you come to next week's webinar, I'll talk to you about how to prepare your meals, what to eat, what not to eat. You can then say, okay, you know what, based on this, what we learned so far, we really have to be careful what we eat because it's going to affect our energy levels, it's going to affect our focus in salah, it's going to affect other things. So preparing your meals makes a huge difference and make sure that you're ready for Ramadan. So, and then based on that, you do a grocery plan. Like, I'm only going to go and get this food. If you can make a grocery plan that does not match your meal plan, guess what's going to happen, right? You're supposed to have fruit and vegetables, and instead you eat cookies and cream, then you will have cookies and cream for Ramadan. But if you prepare yourself and have a grocery plan that's based on your meal plans, you'll be more physically ready for Ramadan. And again, you want to get your body ready for this because the first few days were difficult. If you change your diet, again, in Ramadan only, it'll be difficult. But if you start changing your diet from now, cutting out sugar, cutting out fried food, having a low carb diet, eating more proteins, and then slowly, first few days might have some headaches, might feel uncomfortable, but then after a while, your body gets lighter, you feel like we have more energy, and you realize this is really, really helping me. So preparing yourself for Ramadan for that. Again, decide on a sleep schedule in advance and practice it. So ask yourself, when will I sleep? When will I wake up in Ramadan? And when will I have naps? And again, practice that. Even if you're going to work, I know it might seem like a taboo to nap at work, but trust me, you need to nap in Ramadan. If you do not nap, you will struggle to keep up with the spiritual aspects at night and the fast in the day. It is imperative. Maybe speak to your boss. If you can't, I admit, I used to hide. I used to go inside a mosque sometimes, prayer room. I would stay inside my car and I'll take a little nap because it was so important to help me keep me functioning the whole day and the whole night. So naps helps a lot. Decide on a sleep schedule in advance with your family. No TVs at night. No late night Ramadan shows. I know it's tempting, but sleep is more important because if you're going to be a successful, productive person at night in the morning, a abid, a worshiper at night, and a fasting, productive person working the day, you need to be conscious of your sleep because it has impact. If you don't sleep or you have sleep deprived for so many nights in Ramadan, guess what's going to happen? That's when the mid-Ramadan slump hits. That's when you kind of crash and you're like, oh, please, I can't do this anymore. I'm so tired because you're not sleeping properly in Ramadan. So make sure sleep is very important. Again, we'll speak more about sleeping in the our next webinar, inshallah, next week, inshallah. Now, decide on exercise you'll do. And again, we'll talk more about what does exercise mean, how can you even exercise in Ramadan, all of that in the next week's webinar on how to eat, move, sleep during Ramadan, inshallah. So these are physical plan. And again, putting those plans in place makes it more realistic for you to actually achieve those plans instead of just waking up and realize I didn't do anything. Social plan. Okay, same thing. So we spoke about the importance of you giving or going beyond yourself. And that is that work on your social goal. What will you do? And ideally work with your family and friends. For example, you're saying as a family, we'll make sure that every Ramadan we'll go, this Ramadan, we will go and maybe sponsor a family and make sure we provide their iftar, for example. Or it could be something small as, there's an elderly lady living across the door. We'll make sure that she has the iftar every day, or we'll make sure to send some food every day to her, even if she's non-Muslim, for example. We'll make sure, for example, we will go to the orphanage that's in our town, and we're going to sponsor a meal at least once a week, for example. And again, it doesn't have to be big. It could be as small as I'm going to call my relatives every single day and make sure they're okay and ask how Ramadan was. And just once in Ramadan, like every single day or every week, for example. Think about what are your social goals and put a plan for it. What does that mean in practice? What does that mean in Ramadan? And start building towards that as well. Sometimes finding local online groups help. It's like something like Productive Muslim, kind of encouraging each other and trying to motivating, getting some ideas with each other. That helps as well. But find something local. Maybe you are this Ramadan, maybe you find out that someone in your city, you have a group of brothers and sisters who are working on daily iftar for the poor neighborhoods, for example. Then, you go and join them, for example. Instead of starting something new, you can join them, for example. So think about ways to sort of leverage the effect of other people working on the project. And finally, if you have a social project, there was a great example last year, one of the websites that I really admire and love to visit very often is called launchgood.com. And LaunchGood, what they do is that they have all these amazing projects, and they seek funds from the Muslim community, and they do amazing things. Last year in Ramadan, had an amazing campaign, just $1 supporting some projects. And some of these projects were just mind-blowing. There was a sister, for example, who decided that her social project for Ramadan will be delivering shoes to refugees, because a lot of people, these refugees, once they cross the Mediterranean, the thing they need the most, you might think food, water, and clothes, actually shoes, because the shoes are soaked in water, and there's not even, you cannot wear anymore. So they need shoes, example. So she made it a project is to work on shoes, example. And everyone started thinking about it, and she started launching a campaign. A lot of people supported her, and she raised, I think, $15,000 from around the world. And she did send shoes across to the refugee camps, and it was very, very beneficial. So what would be your social project? Something that you will do, something unique, something that you've never done before that gets you excited. Think like, oh, subhanAllah, I will do that. Something that, again, could be as small as, like I said, sponsoring the meal of an old lady or old man, in the neighborhood, to as big as, helping refugee camps with some shoe plan and doing a launching campaign. It does not matter. And inshallah ta'ala, we'll be doing actually a joint webinar between LaunchGood and Productive Muslim on how to be socially productive in Ramadan. So inshallah ta'ala, we'll talk about how to manage your time with all these activities, how to manage your money and stuff like that. There'll be some really, really good webinar we'll do together, inshallah ta'ala, in a couple of weeks as well. So plan your socially focused project, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, once you've done that, you have your plans for spiritual, physical, social, I recommend you guys download this free tool we call the Ultimate Ramadan Taskinator. It breaks down each day of Ramadan into an hour-by-hour breakdown. And you want you to go through it and ask yourself, when will I work on each goal? For example, if you said, my goal is to work on a social project, when will you work on that? Exact what time? My goal is to make sure that I exercise. When will you do that? My goal is to make sure that I, read one juz of Quran. When will you actually schedule in each one of your goals so that you can see a realistic routine? Because guess what? Ramadan comes and it completely messes up your normal routine, right? You don't drink tea and 10 o'clock or have breakfast at 6 o'clock. It just messes up the whole. It just completely puts it upside down. So that forces you almost reassess. And instead of you waiting Ramadan to make those decisions on how your routine should look like, start now. Start by, planning, say, what would my Ramadan day look like? So once Ramadan comes, you hit the ground running. You're not trying to figure out, okay, when will I sleep? When will I wake up? When will I do? No. You've already planned it. You've already thought it through. So schedule according to your energy levels. So don't say, for example, I am going to, for example, let's say I'm going to do some social project late at night when you're so tired, right? Think about when will you schedule when you feel the most energy. Sometimes some things don't require much physical energy, so you can do that then. For example, some reading perhaps, or something that requires less energy. Some calls might require less energy, but something that requires a lot of energy, make sure you schedule it according to energy levels. And then rehearse. And this is where Sha'ban comes in. Rehearse. One of the sunnah of Rasulullah ﷺ is that he used to fast a lot in Sha'ban. In fact, Aisha radiallahu anha said that I've never seen the Prophet fast so much outside Ramadan like he fasts in Sha'ban. And that by itself is a lesson for all of us, that he was preparing himself, not just physically for the body for Ramadan, but even just, how will his schedule be? How will things work out? He was fasting very often to get ready in that mood of fasting consecutive days and just getting that ready for Ramadan. And that's something for us to learn, inshallah ta'ala. Any questions so far? Any question? Are we good? Okay. We will actually have a whole Q&A session, inshallah ta'ala. All right. Coming up. Okay, so this is how you, these are the 3 steps, right? What are the 3 steps again? Let me just make sure you guys are listening. What were the 3 steps again, guys? What were the 3 steps again? Nope, first physical fit. So first fitness test, make sure that you guys are physically fit. Okay. What was the second thing again? Assess where you are. What's the second thing? Setting goals. Excellent. Setting those goals, defining goals. And again, fitness was spiritual, physical, social. Goals, spiritual, physical, social, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. What's the third thing? Game plan. Excellent, guys. All right, game plan. So you guys are listening. So thank you so much. So this is how you prepare for Ramadan. You have to assess where you are. Where's my baseline? Define where you're heading. What's my goal? What's personal to you? And then have a game plan. Have a way to move forward with Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala. So now I'm going to ask you again the question: are you now ready for Ramadan? Do you think you are now ready? Now that you have this basics, do you think now you're more able to be ready for Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala? Okay, so mentally you're nest. Okay, great. All right. You now see it's not overwhelming. I know I know what to prepare. I have the tools. Great. Again, I have the tools. That's important. That's what I want you to guys, at least at the end of this webinar, to actually just be at least, okay, now I know the game plan. Now, get an athletic mindset, set the fitness level, basically go towards set the fitness level, have goals, and have a work plan, inshallah ta'ala. So I want you guys to tell about something called the Productive Muslim Pre-Ramadan Boot Camp. And this boot camp, the idea of this boot camp is that all of us, including myself, get into this. Let's get ready for Ramadan, right? All of us to come together. So it's going to be a pre-Ramadan boot camp. It will start tomorrow on Sunday, 1st of Sha'ban, which is tomorrow, May 8th. And for every day from Sunday until the beginning of Ramadan, I'm going to be sending daily lessons and daily emails to motivate you to get ready for Ramadan. So I'll say, hey guys, here's the 3 challenges. Here's 3 things you need to know. Set your stretch goals, and really kind of build that community of people who are getting themselves ready for Ramadan. We're going to like a boot camp where you're going to tune up and get fit for Ramadan, but not just physically fit, but spiritually fit, socially fit. So this is where the whole boot camp comes in. We're going to have a Ramadan readiness assessment starting tomorrow, where you're going to fill an assessment sheet where you're going to say, okay, this is by the way, I'm not going to share this with anybody outside a group, and no one's going to see your results, your personal results. Just for you to say, how am I doing in Ramadan? How am I doing now, spiritually, physically, socially, and get you ready for Ramadan. And also have a private Facebook group. So all of us will be in this private Facebook group. We'll be asking each other questions. Did you guys fast? If tomorrow's Monday, did you guys fast? No, why didn't you fast? And start almost hold ourselves accountable. Again, I'm excited to be part of this boot camp because I want to hold you guys and hold me accountable, and we hold each other accountable. Did we learn the fiqh of fasting? Is there any courses that we should benefit from? And we're helping each other to get through Ramadan and make sure that we have 30 days of working together, inshallah ta'ala. This is exclusive for Academy Plus members. Again, we want people who are serious, who've taken the steps for them to become Academy Plus members. We don't want people who, for example, just, like all free riders. They come on, yeah, it's interesting, mashallah, brother, well done, and they just walk away and they don't benefit. We want people who are actually investing in their personal development and investing in their spiritual development. And that's what this whole boot camp is about. And again, if this is not for you, if you prefer not to be part of Academy Plus, by all means, we have an entire website called productiveness.com, which has all sorts of resources. But this is for people who really want to take that step further and take this serious, inshallah ta'ala. So the Academy, those who don't know what the Academy is, it's actually a platform, a personal development platform for the Ummah. Think about it. When you probably read a lot of books on improving yourself and self-improvement, but how many of that is based on the Quran and Sunnah? How many of that is something that tells you about your akhirah, that prepares you for the akhirah, helps you, that all these characters, read those articles, books, we hear webinars, talks, experts, but what's about a development for our akhirah? That's the whole point of Productive Muslim Academy. It's about developing people for, having that personal development, growth, that productivity, that holistic productivity for the akhirah, that people are geared to understand that this is how I need to improve myself and improve those around me. It has short practical courses. When we add new ones, at least every month, every 2 months, short practical courses in like how to focus in age of distraction, how to wake up for Fajr, never miss Fajr again, how to, for example, how not to procrastinate, how to manage your time. All these courses are there, and we're adding new ones as we learn from you what you exactly need to learn, for example. Is a community of learners, people who have joined. So far, it's about 300 people who have joined this academy, and they're sort of asking questions. I'm responding to them on a one-to-one basis to help them, all of us, personal development, inshallah. And it has practical resources, like we have checklists, we have worksheets, we have trackers. It's like, it's not just, okay, watch some videos and yep, this is interesting. We're going to make you work. It's about, because personal development is a lot of work, and we want you to actually work on this. That's why we ask you to invest in this academy. And we have some exclusive training, so some inside training, like these webinars that are not public. That's just for those who are part of the academy. Inshallah, we're starting them something very, very soon. People will have these one-to-one conversations, Q&A sessions, where me and you have Q&A sessions just for those who are academy, inshallah ta'ala. And of course, the private Facebook group. Now, put all these values together, you might think I'm charging $100,000 for this, is only for $14.99, which is like, I don't know, the price of this book, this little book cost me $14. So it's like, for the price of that per month, you're investing in your personal development, in your personal growth. It is not that much. It's some small investment that you're putting in so that you can be part of this learning environment, so you can improve yourself. And again, if you don't have that money, or if you don't want to invest, that's fine. We have a whole productivemuslim.com platform, which has lots of free resources. But this is for those who want to take their learning a step forward, inshallah ta'ala. The academy also includes our flagship product, the Productive Ramadan course. This is our online course. We had this for 5 years. It's a video-based online course. It's designed by Muslims for Muslims. It has 8 practical modules and 116 lessons. Like, we've covered everything you need to do about Ramadan. And we have 4 experts who have given from a health perspective, from a sister's perspective, from a corporate perspective. It's a complete back-to-back course. Go to productiveramadan.com and you can see a video explaining what this is about in more detail. We have interviews with mashayikh, we have interviews with NFL players, who basically how they manage their Ramadan. So we've really put in our best to make sure this is some really solid course that helps you get ready for Ramadan and make sure you have the most productive Ramadan ever. And you have support from other instructors, and it's infographics, of trans. Included inside the account, so you don't have to pay. Before, I used to sell this course for about $200-300. Now it's part of the $14.99 package every month, so you don't have to pay anything extra. Who joined us, they said, this is my first Ramadan and I was so nervous, but this course helped me just manage that nervousness. So it really is a practice that has had results. We're not like giving a course that we never tested before. 5 years of people testing this course and giving us feedback, and we keep on improving every single year. So in addition to that Ramadan course, we have all the other courses, like I said, how to manage focus in the age of distraction, how to develop habits and routines, how to basically manage your time, how to have life goals, how some key habits, how to miss Fajr again. And we keep adding courses every month so that we can bring more people into the academy, and becomes really a personal development platform for the Ummah, holistic personal development based on the Quran and Sunnah and latest science, so we all improve ourselves and we reach the high level, inshallah ta'ala. So how do you join this academy? Very, very easy. Just go to productivemuslimacademy.com and just click on Become an Academy Plus member and enter this coupon code. I'm getting a special discount code just for you guys because you attended live. Put Ramadan and you get a discount on this. Instead of paying $14.99, you're paying just $9. So for your first month, you're just paying $9. $9, like the price of, I don't know, Starbucks gourmet coffee. It's not that much. $9, you have access to all this work. You have access to the boot camp, 30-day boot camp. You have access to the courses in the Ramadan course, and of course, the private Facebook group and all the other features of the academy. So I hope you guys will join. Very, very easy. Go productivemuslimacademy.com. Just sign up, enter the Ramadan code, and you set. And basically, we'll see you inside of the boot camp starting tomorrow. So the assessment, get you guys ready, up and pumping, inshallah ta'ala. And every single day, guys, 30 days, I'll be on your case. I'll be your coach and get you, inshallah ta'ala, ready for Ramadan. So all of us, including myself, get ready for Ramadan. Inshallah ta'ala, we're really looking forward for this academy and for all of you to really be part of this, inshallah ta'ala, and benefit and learn ways to improve yourself and be better, productive citizens of the world, inshallah ta'ala. I hope this was beneficial. So who will join? I want to know who will join, inshallah ta'ala, this course, like, pre-Ramadan boot camp starting tomorrow, daily lessons with the assessment first, a private Facebook group, and exclusive for Academy Plus members. Who's joining? Who's going to be joining us, inshallah ta'ala? Anyone? All right, inshallah ta'ala. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys, inshallah ta'ala, inside the academy, because I really feel that this is something that will be very, very practical, that all of us would sort of benefit from, inshallah ta'ala, and be something that we learn a lot from, inshallah ta'ala. So again, thank you so much, and I really, really appreciate it. The Ramadan promo code is Ramadan, Ramadan. It's very, very easy, Ramadan code. And again, I will send you an email with basically how to sign up, inshallah ta'ala. But I really, really hope that you guys will be like, and again, it's not just, I want you to just read my emails. I want you guys to get ready. This is going to be tough, right? I want you by beginning of Ramadan, you're like, alhamdulillah, I've done everything I can to make the most of Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala, and make this very, very easy, inshallah ta'ala. So again, jazakumullah khair is really powerful. And now we are going on to the part you guys have been waiting for, Q&A, inshallah ta'ala. So I'm going to go into Q&A session, where I'm going to look into basically the questions that come through, and you can vote up or vote down any questions you really want to answer, inshallah ta'ala. Please ask your questions underneath this video. There's a place to ask your questions, a little big button, ask a question. And basically, I'll go through, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, so the first question, I think this is got the 52 votes. How a woman can remain connected in Ramadan during her off days in Ramadan. Now, I highly recommend, guys, that you read this article. Let me just put it up on Productive Muslim. Let me just put it up. Let me just do this. Oh, hold on. How do I change screens? Okay, here we go. Oops. There we go. All right. So share screen. Let me share the screen. Yeah, there we go. So this article on Productive Muslim is written by a sister. So again, I'm probably not the best person to give advice on what sisters should do during one of the off days. So we asked the sister who's an expert, who's also, mashallah, very productive. We asked her, give us a very practical way on how to sustain the spirit of Ramadan during non-fasting days. It's available for free on the website. Go to productivemuslim.com, Ramadan during non-fasting days. In fact, what I'll do, I'll copy this and paste it here, guys, for you, so that you guys can read, inshallah ta'ala. And basically, we answered for three main categories. The overtime mother, so some mother who's working overtime. If you're pregnant or breastfeeding in Ramadan, what you should do. And the working Muslimah, the Muslimah who's also working. So we answer these three categories and what to do during non-fasting days. What can you do, inshallah ta'ala? Very, very practical. Has a lot of lists, inshallah ta'ala. So I highly recommend to read this so you can benefit from it, inshallah ta'ala. It's very, very powerful, very, very powerful stuff, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, so that was the question. Let me go to the next one. Let me just see if I can answer it. Oh, let me do this one. There you go. Allah. Okay, so this is answering. So I'm done. So yeah, I said go to the website, go check out the article, and inshallah ta'ala, you'll find benefit from that, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, so the next question is, I feel very low spirit. How can I refresh my soul and heart before Ramadan? Again, this is part of the plan, right? We're going to work together to basically establish that fitness. Okay, right now I'm in very low spirit. For example, what should you do? For example, the first step I recommend you is to do tawbah, right? And to do tawbah in a very emotional level, not just, okay, I make tawbah, do istighfar, but really like, understand the mercy Allah has had upon you and the overwhelming blessing He has given us. And from there, you can realize, man, I'm not doing enough. I'm just not giving, I'm not really helping I'm not giving back to I'm not doing enough to please Allah Ta'ala. That feeling of guilt will help you to sort of, get those emotions moving. Because once you move emotionally, that drives you to be more spiritually connected. And then we will start slowly. Don't expect that you're gonna, pray Tahajjud every night and fast every day. It will take a while. So we have to work with you. That's why the boot camp is helping you. Like I'm in the boot camp, I'm going to ask you, I'm not expecting everyone to be the same level. Some people will be advanced, people will be beginners. I'm giving activities based on where you're advanced or beginners or where you guys are. And that Ramadan readiness assessment will tell me which level you guys are at, inshallah ta'ala, so that I can tailor the training according to majority of people, what level they're at, inshallah ta'ala. So starting with the obligations, getting close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also change the companion, finding friends and family members who remind you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who keep you close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and reading about the seerah. I find reading about the history and the seerah of Rasulullah very inspiring, very, very, it keeps you going, inshallah ta'ala. So this is really, really going to be beneficial, inshallah ta'ala. So I hope that answers your question. Again, the bootcamp will get more detailed, get more practical about it. But once you put a Ramadan goal, once you sit towards it, if you don't join the bootcamp, just set a Ramadan goal. Start with tawbah, with istighfar and tawbah, and then move yourself towards being closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And inshallah, Ramadan comes to give you that lift, because when Ramadan comes, we all have that spiritual lift, inshallah ta'ala. That will help as well, inshallah ta'ala. I hope that answers your question. Things say Shayma, Jazakallah khair for answering that. Okay. So the question from Ninja, wow, cool name. So the question from Ninja is how to stick to Ramadan habits after Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala. And again, we will actually have an entire course after Ramadan on post Ramadan. Right now, let's not worry about after Ramadan because it'll overwhelm yourself. But what I'll say is this: when you plan your spiritual goals, your physical goals, your social goals, always think, how will I want to sustain this after Ramadan? So it's not just about setting those goals and like say amazing goals in Ramadan, then boom, you crash. Make sure you set goals that you are willing to continue after Ramadan. And that's the key thing about setting the spiritual goals. It's not just like, okay, I'm going to do it, like I'm going to pray Tahajjud every night, I'm going to read one juz of Quran. Yes, maybe during Ramadan you can do that, but then say, what will be my after Ramadan habits? And you kind of maybe scale down a bit, but it has to be consistent. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves the deeds which are consistent, even if they're little. So even if you might not be at the same level as Ramadan, but even if you scale back, don't scale back to like negative or minus, scale back to a little bit. Maybe you're not reading a whole juz'ah, maybe half juz'ah, maybe 5 pages, right? But at least you are, setting these goals post-Ramadan. Again, we'll have a whole course on post-Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala, coming up very, very soon, inshallah ta'ala, after Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala. But now focus on before Ramadan. We've got 30 days, guys. We need to get ready for Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. Again, the question is what to eat to stay energized and concentrate, also healthy in suhoor and iftar. Again, that question will be answered in detail in next week's free webinar. So the free webinar called How to Eat, Move, Sleep Ramadan. Look out for announcements, look out for my emails. I'll be sending out during the week, inshallah ta'ala. So hope you guys can join me, inshallah ta'ala. And we'll answer the question, what to eat to stay energized, how to be fit, and how to sleep during Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, next question. How to manage sleep effectively. Okay, same thing. How to manage sleep effectively. The question I'm going to answer here about how to use social media during Ramadan, because that's when we become in the webinar. Now, social media is actually one of those things people think, I'm addicted on social media. What should I do? The first thing I recommend you do, I guess this is part of a 30-day boot camp we'll be doing, is just turn off notifications, right? Don't have those annoying notifications that come up and say you have 65 unread messages, right? Or, ding, dong, dong, like those little things that point at you. Just turn them off completely. Just turn them off and put your phone and then you choose when to check. So what I normally do is that I work for, let's say, 25 minutes or 1 hour. Once I'm done working, I'll take a 5-minute break or 10-minute break, and then go back into again and do another work in. Now, during those breaks, I might check social media, check my Twitter, my Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. I'll do that just to entertain myself. Oh, and sometimes I don't. Like I don't feel like I have to because I cannot see the notifications. Nothing's telling me, oh, you have to check now. But if I can see the notifications, then I'll be like, oh, I have to check now, for example. So that way, make sure that you turn off those notifications. That way, you're kind of weaning yourself off. And then during Ramadan, you can set a goal for yourself: is that I will not check, for example, more than 3 times a day, these platforms. And you can keep track of yourself. Am I really sticking to this social media? And you kind of weaning yourself off, and slowly you realize, actually, this is not, it's doable. It's not that hard. It's doable, inshallah ta'ala. So that's answered good. But the other questions about diet and food and things that will be covered during Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala. And also procrastination is also about, Ramadan course. And basically, this is the best way is to think about, for in terms of procrastination is to work in like bursts of energy, like 25 minutes or half an hour, and then take a break, and then do another 25 minutes, focus on it, and take a break. Check out something called Pomodoro technique. It's a very, very effective tool to help you prepare for, help you beat procrastination, called Pomodoro technique, inshallah ta'ala. So I hope, Asr, I answered your question. Inshallah, that was useful, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, let me see if we can go a couple more questions. Okay, so I think this is M, is a single full-time working mom, how to make most of Ramadan when you have work and are responsible for all day-to-day household chores. This is where the question comes in, where you need to, when you come to Ramadan, we'll talk this in the boot camp, inshallah ta'ala, is that the first thing you need to do is say, what will I eliminate from my to-dos during Ramadan? A lot of us, we kind of want to almost have the same lifestyle before and during and after Ramadan. Things will have to change, right? Like I said, Ramadan comes and completely, turns your schedule upside down. So what will you eliminate? That is the thing I will not do. For example, getting rid of social media or just turn off some social media can save you a whole lot of time. So that can be something you eliminate. Once you've answered that question, the next one, what will I delegate, right? For example, maybe get my kids involved in helping on the house. Maybe I will ask the help of help or family and friends just to help us, delegate some work. So what will I delegate and get others to do so that I'm not always doing everything? And that way, maybe this is a good question. We have an article about people who are especially sisters who are just the whole day in the kitchen, the whole day cooking. What will you delegate? How will you manage your meals? That's why meal planning can actually save you a lot of time and especially healthy meals can spare you a lot of time. So these are some of the questions you ask. What will I delegate? Once you know what to eliminate, what to delegate, ask yourself, what will I really focus on? What will be my things my most important things I gotta do during Ramadan? And you focus on that. And then everything else, I give myself permission not to do. Sometimes you just, like I say, you cannot have it all. You can't do everything at the same time. But what will I give myself permission not to do during Ramadan? Maybe this Ramadan, I will not spend hours trying to, for example, I'm trying to think of a good example here, like cooking that lavish meal. Maybe I'll limit the meals to something much more simpler but quicker. Inshallah, that's still nutritious, but will not be like the lavish meals that I spend 3-4 hours doing. And start thinking, what will I just not give myself permission not to do? That way you kind of give yourself a balance. But if you try to do everything yourself and everything on your own, and you do the same tasks that you used to do before Ramadan, you will struggle. You will find it very, very hard. So, I mean, I wish I could, if you get more detail about your schedule, I can help you with the schedules. But inshallah, the bootcamp and academies, these are things that we can go into detail. I answer specific questions, but it's more about really eliminating, delegating, and then focusing, and everything else. You just say, you know what, I'm going to leave that after Ramadan. It's not a priority for me during Ramadan, and that comes by you having clear goal what you do want to achieve, and most importantly, what you don't want to achieve in Ramadan. That's how people who actually work as do as well. Inshallah. Okay. Okay, great question about working during Ramadan. So how do you work during Ramadan? Now, again, work in Ramadan, people think that Ramadan should be the time off, right? They should just take time off. Now, again, sometimes it is beneficial, but unfortunately, I'm doing a lot of studies right now, and I'm working even sometimes with, I'm trying to work with corporates about this, where there's a whole idea about Ramadan being the unproductive month, right? Unfortunately, especially in the Muslim world, Muslim majority world, Ramadan is seen as a month of laziness, of month nothing gets done. And I feel bad because it's not Ramadan to blame. It's ourselves to blame. We don't manage our energy, our focus, our time. We're not managing our spirituality properly. So we are to blame, not Ramadan. But unfortunately, it gives Ramadan a bad name. And even a lot of people around the world think, oh, Ramadan, nothing gets done in the Muslim world. So that means that whole culture has to shift. So that's one thing. Because I worked in a Muslim country and I worked in a non-Muslim country. And even though in the Muslim country, sometimes where unfortunately the hours are changed, the working hours are reduced, and people are feeling lazier, they don't want to get things done. It's, oh, after Ramadan we'll do this. And where, you just look, why are we giving Ramadan a bad name? So this comes down on a cultural level, but also even on a personal level. If you are going to work every day, how can you make the most of Ramadan? That's why the planning part, what are your spiritual goals? Setting those plans. For example, like I said, when you may be going to work, coming back from work, if you can listen to something beneficial, if you can do adhkar, if you can constantly do adhkar, if you can pray a duha prayer inside your work, take a little nap to really energize yourself. There's a whole module inside a Ramadan course for those who are in part of the academy by a guy called Karim Al-Sayyid, who now actually works in Google. He has a whole module on how to be productive at work and how to talk to your manager about Ramadan. It's a very practical module. I highly recommend you guys go through it. It's very practical, so we want to make most of Ramadan. So Ramadan work is not an excuse. Not to work in Ramadan is not an excuse. You can work in Ramadan. Yes, you might have to scale down some activities, but you need to know that balance and how to make that balance and give yourself permission that some things you cannot do at your optimal level. But if you've tried everything else, if you try energy, your focus, your sleep, you try everything, and then you can say, you know what, I've tried everything, now I need to cut down some activities, that's also fine, inshallah ta'ala. So he will be, that will be part of the Ramadan plan, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. Okay, how to make full use of time in Ramadan let me answer this question. How to make full use of time during Ramadan while still studying in college? Great question for those who are in college. So first of all, what I recommend you to do is I know it might be tempting that after you eat suhoor, wake up as early as possible before Fajr prayer, so as late as possible before Fajr prayer, have your suhoor meal, pray Fajr prayer, and after Fajr prayer, hit the ground running and study. And now this might sound counterintuitive, but that early morning is when you are at your most energy because you just had suhoor, and you're quite full, and you are at the most optimal level. Then you study for like an hour and a half for 2 hours, then take a nap and get ready, and then wake up from your nap and get ready for college, school, go to your college, take a nap during work and during college, and then come back again. When you come back from work, instead of wasting time on social media, wasting time on TV, do some light reading, and then have your iftar meal. If you have time between Maghrib and Isha, put in some studying there. If not, come back, go for masjid, go pray, Washa prayer, come back, sleep after Taraweeh, and then come back and sleep after Taraweeh, and then sleep early so they can wake up suhoor early and you can study in those early hours. A lot of college kids, what they do is they stay up the whole night from Taraweeh to suhoor prayer. That's very unhealthy. You're killing your sleep. You're making it difficult for you to basically maintain your marathon fitness in Ramadan. So what I recommend you do is that studying time, the bulk of your studying time should be in those early hours, because the Prophet taught us the early hours are blessed from an nation. There's barakah in those early hours. So try to aim for it in those early hours, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. All right. So Said Sabir is asking, what should you do before Ramadan? This is the whole webinar, inshallah ta'ala. I hope you guys, this is where I covered, what should you do before Ramadan? We spoke about set your fitness, plan for it, inshallah ta'ala, and prepare yourself and set goals and plan for inshallah ta'ala and make it very, very, very practical. This whole webinar, the idea was just to get you in that mindset of, I need to get ready. And for those who want to go a step further, they can join us on our boot camp, inshallah ta'ala, so that it becomes even more practical, not just theoretical. And one thing I hate about sometimes, this work is that people look at, yes, mashallah, brother, this is awesome. And then you ask them 1 week later, have you done anything I told you? Like, no, I didn't have time. So what I want to do with the boot camp is overcome that, where I give you daily emails, daily check-ins, daily accountability, so you guys make sure you're part of it, inshallah ta'ala. So I hope you guys will join the boot camp. I think inshallah ta'ala we'll wrap it up around here, inshallah ta'ala. I want to say jazakumullahu alf khair, jazakumullahu khair for everything, for guys, for being part of it, for signing up, for the amazing, enthusiastic sort of responses on the chat. You guys have been amazing. And barakallahu feekum. I really, really hope that you benefit from this webinar. That's practical, that was useful, that it was something you can take from there. And for those of you joining the webinar, I hope you guys join us live very, very soon, inshallah ta'ala, for those joining the boot camp. I'm looking forward to starting tomorrow with you guys. I hope you guys are ready. Don't get nervous. I'll try to be nice, but it'll be tough. It'll be the practical boot camp, inshallah ta'ala. Again, barakallahu feekum. I really, really appreciate your kind words. Please spread the word about this work, this webinar, about the boot camp. Get your family and friends involved. Everyone gets in the boot camp. Everyone gets ready for Ramadan this year, inshallah ta'ala, so that we are not caught off guard with Ramadan. So subhanakallahumma bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.